Wow. I am beginning to understand that the anime community here on YouTube is just as corrupt as the gaming community is. The anime YouTuber audience, the people that I'm aware of who cover anime and talk about it and hype up upcoming shows and talk about a whole bunch of bullshit concerning the industry, those people are hacks. Those people have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Like, I am glad that I've unsubscribed from pretty much everyone I've ever watched. Best Guy Ever, Mother's Basement, Super Eye Patch Wolf. Those guys are all cucks. And the reason I'm saying this, especially in the case of Best Guy Ever and Mother's Basement, is because I just sat through 2.5 episodes of High School of the Dead, a show that had been hyped to me as being exceptionally well made and interesting. Like, this show often was, it was one of those casual things, where people were like talking about the show that they really liked and talking about how like it's overlooked by a lot of people. Uh, because it has fan service. I'm beginning to think that the anime community in particular, I think this anti-SJW sentiment, although it's not exactly unwarranted, I think it's reaching the point where it's being used to defend stupid bullshit like this. Because I really need to talk about this when it comes to High School of the Dead, because this show fucking sucks. Like, okay, 2.5 episodes of it. I was amazed at just how I use the word amazed. I was just really put out by just how uninteresting the premise was, just how, terrible the characters were, just how uninspired the whole thing was, just how uncreative, just how, I guess the surrounding artwork looks nice. But the character designs are atrocious. And I think that's one of the things I really want to talk about first of all. And that's one of the reasons I'm calling out Best Guy Ever and Mother's Basement specifically, is because those guys I know have gone on record saying that the fan service in this series is not ridiculous. It is perfectly acceptable. And if you hate that, that makes you a faggot. I fucking hate it. So call me a faggot if you want. But the fan service in this, and the fan service in anime like this, is so tasteless and just so idiotic and just overall just not sexy. Like, this is something that I really need to do. Like, this fan service, like, these guys seem to think that like huge bouncing tits like everywhere is like some incredible thing. It's like some novel concept that no one has ever come up with before. That's going to make your show amazing, because that's this show's defining character trait. I think early on is the fucking in the first episode at least, is like these incredibly fan servicey like panty shots and like these shots of legs and asses and just boobs. It's just like way over the in a show about like a zombie apocalypse. Like, the most prevalent thing about it is the fan service. That is the front and center thing. That is like the main appeal, and it's so tasteless and so stupid. Like, the character just, I don't know, man. This is just really dumb. Like, I now have a massive hate boner for fan service anime because of this show. It was just so tasteless and so stupid. And I'm not just talking about like, okay, so I don't want to make this seem like I'm only criticizing this show because of the fan service. Although that was the thing that like put me off of it immediately. Like, immediately, I fucking hated this show because of how tasteless this was. But I think another thing that I really want to point out, and I think really needs to be said, is that the writing in this show is fucking terrible. Like, from the get go, like, there's all this weird, awkward bullshit with like Takashi, and like how he was cucked by his best friend, and just how the best friend dies, and how this girl is now like making the moves on him. It's just like, it's really fucking artificial and really fucking stupid. Like, that's just an example I'm using. I just like, it was amazing how the show treats like, you know uh, episode one from episode two. Like, that episode two begins like right as episode one right where episode 1 leaves off, right? Immediately afterward. It's amazing how the girlfriend doesn't give a shit about her fucking dead boyfriend. No, she is immediately being like all touchy feely with this other guy, the guy that she fucking NTR'd. I'm just like, fucking bullshit. Fucking hate her. Like, they try to make her badass with like the spear thing, and it's just like, no, she's not cool. She's not tough. She's not like an interesting character or anything. She's just like some stupid bitch. Okay, like not sympathetic at all. Like, and I think that might be intentional. Like, I really wonder if like that's going to be something that like comes up later. That like, ooh, she's trying to like use this guy. Like, I don't know. Like the whole situation from all of these characters is so fucking stupid. They do so many things that no one would actually do in this situation. So, for example, like the tsundere, like I don't fucking know what her name is, like Sumagi, something like that. The tsundere girl, the girl with pink hair, like most terrible looking tsundere I've ever seen in my life. Fucking hate her design. She looks atrocious. Ugliest fucking character in the show. I hate the nurse, the doctor woman too. My favorite chick is the samurai one, by the way. She's like over the top, but in like a really funny way. Like I love the samurai chick. Oh, I mean, I hate her less than the others. I imagine I would hate her more, hate her just as much as the others. The tsundere is just. There are so many times where she says like stupid bullshit. Like, okay, so that's desperately trying to sound smart. Like where like they're running through the hallway. The fat chubby guy who has a crush on her is like following her around, and like they stop on this outside area, and like, huh, and she's just like, oh, you can't go. Those guys had the same idea to go to the teachers, and like there are these guys who are like, there's this group of students like not that far away, like standing in front of this door, and then it bursts open, and like zombies come out and like attack them. It doesn't. There's only like 2 zombies. They just attack them. So they don't think to help these people at all. Like these people don't matter. There are so many times where like the characters will like stand and have these like loud conversations with each other while like there are zombies everywhere around them. It's just it's impossible to take it seriously. Like that was the thing I noticed right away. Like I thought of right away when I saw this is that like, whoa, this show is taking itself way too fucking seriously. Like if this was a comedy, all of this bullshit would be fine. Like, if it was played for laughs, it would be amazing. But it's not. This is supposed to be like a completely serious, like, zombie survival story. But here you have these, like, stupid kids, like, going around just, like, doing all this stupid bullshit. Just, man. I just don't like any of these characters. I don't like the cuck. What's his name? Tatsugi? Something like that. I don't like that guy. I don't like his, like, stupid girlfriend. Pinky Promise is fucking bullshit. I don't like the doctor chick. She's an idiot. Like they're trying to give her like a super high tech medical knowledge depth with that. It's just stupid. Like really, all of it is just man. It's so like I don't feel like the zombies are a threat. I just don't like. You're supposed to believe that people would just let this happen. Like the only way the zombies can spread the disease is if they fucking bite you, and apparently weapons. I just don't. There are just so many times, like I don't know, just I don't even know how to describe it. It's like it just has that general problem that so many zombie films have these days is that it's stock as shit. Like you have all these guys who are just going around fighting zombies, and of course they're not going to. Man, I just I don't even I only watched like 2.5 episodes. Okay, so I don't really have a lot of examples to go off of. But there were so many times where like characters just did something that pissed me off. Like I just I don't know that entire situation with like the cell phone, right? For some reason, the teenage girl, does not have a cell phone on her. Whatever. So she calls her dad's secret phone number, okay? The one that only she knows, the one that's like she's only supposed to call in a case of an emergency. And her dad does pick up, but for some reason, he doesn't hear her voice. And for some reason, he recognizes Samugi's, the Cuck's number, because like it's his phone, and he starts like telling him what to do and stuff like that. And then like this girl, she starts bitching about, oh, he didn't recognize me. Like, bitch, he didn't hear you. Like, I don't understand. Like, this show just goes back and forth on like it's weird emotional bullshit. Like, it tries to be like emotional. It tries to like make some big deal about like, ooh, shit, what do you call like the guy who cucks someone else? That guy. They tried to make a big deal about that, but by episode 3, it doesn't matter. He's been completely forgotten. She has a new man now. It's just like the same kind of bullshit that pissed me off about like what was that, James? The Spy Who Loved Me, right? Uh, that pissed me off there too. Just stupid bullshit like that. Like, people would not get over someone like that fucking quickly. Okay, that just does not happen. Especially if you were like attached and like I just don't. Man, I just do not like. I just did not like this anime at all. There was nothing really redeeming about it, like at all. Like the premise wasn't all that interesting. Like the characters weren't fun. Like, I guess the nicest thing I can say about it is like the animation looked nice, but it was Madhouse. I mean, the kind of the fights looked fine. Like the area looked fine. Like the animation was fine. It was just like it was just hard for me to give a shit because like the the world was just so stupid and just again, it tried to take itself seriously instead of like being a straight up comedy. Like, this show desperately wants to have like a, it kind of does have this idea that like, ooh, people might be capable of much more than you might expect for them because like the nerdy guy has like knows how to use weapons or whatever. He makes a gun out of like a fucking nail gun. It's like some duct tape, whatever. It's not cool. It's not badass. It just seems like something the writers pulled out of their asses, basically. Like, it really does feel that way. That like the hidden depths of these characters aren't that interesting and not that like from what I've seen, like I just, is there a reason the samurai chick acts like a samurai? I don't think I'll be finishing it. I'm not planning on watching this show again. I actually just stopped watching midway through episode 3. I'm going to tell you why I stopped watching episode 3 because I just really want to drive home just how bad this show can get. So basically, the guys, the survivors, we'll call them, they have gotten their hands on a minibus. Like, they have their doctor like driving it. She's a fucking ditz and can't figure it out. So they're just sitting there. The engine is running, and then all of a sudden, other survivors come out of nowhere. They're being led by this teacher, right? This guy wearing glasses. He's just like, okay, everyone, follow me. It's amazing how he's like standing in place, like shouting, like making these gestures, and like these zombies that are surrounding him aren't doing shit. And then this girl, the girl who cucked him, the spear girl. Fuck, I can't remember any of these characters' names. This girl is like standing there, just like in the bus, and she's just like, no, not that guy. He's an asshole. We can't save him. And like, of course, it's proven to be completely correct because what happens after this? Immediately after this, like this guy pretends to be a nice guy at first. Whatever. What happens immediately after that is that this nerdy guy, who for some reason is like carrying a whole armful of books, for some reason, I guess he's really dedicated for studying for the end of year exams. I'm told that like Asian schools really value those, really important. Like, this guy just goes fucking trips over himself, like at the worst possible moment, like among all these fucking zombies, and he's just like, he grabs this guy's leg, and he's just like, oh no, I sprained my ankle, and I'm just like, holy fucking shit, what a stupid, contrived situation. Just unbelievable. Do you really expect me to believe that like someone would like carry books in like a situation like this, that he would trip and sprain his ankle, and then what would immediately happen afterward is that this teacher guy is just like, well, I guess it's survival of the fittest, and then he just goes like bam and just like kicks him in the head. And then he just like walks away. The zombies don't fucking bother him. They just like walk past him and like attack the guy on the ground. And just fucking bullshit. It was just like, I closed the window right there. I am done. that was such a bullshit situation. It didn't work at all. It didn't work narratively well. It didn't work thematically well. Like it doesn't like I don't buy anyone doing that. It's just so fucking stupid. And to think this anime was hyped to me as being like this really deep, like interesting character study on these characters and how they like change in their situation. Bull fucking shit. You just like the fan service. You guys are shameless. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable that anybody likes this shit. I'm just like, I don't think I've been, well, I got to episode 3. I suppose I hated JoJo's a lot more. But man, I was like really let down by this fucking anime. Like I was kind of expecting it to be somewhat good. I was expecting it to be like interesting. I was expecting it to win me over, but no, not at all. That didn't happen at all. I just don't like the red shirt characters. I don't like how um, this show tries to be. It tries to be that weird. It tries to blend like one of those weird things that try to blend comedy with like a serious drama, and it just does not work at all. Especially the comedy. The show is not that funny to begin with, but like that just ends up ruining like the attempts at being dramatic. Really, again, like it should have gone full blown comedy if that was the angle they wanted to go with. I just don't really. I don't understand why this show is as heavily praised and hyped as it is. Because I heard several people like praise it and like defend it as being like, you can't judge a show for being fan service. The show is garbage. Like the fan service is really just one of the more obvious problems with it. Like it's just not good fan service. Like I know it's hard to believe that there'd be a thing that's not good fan service. No, it's not tastefully handled. It's not interesting. Like I don't like any of these characters. Like I defended the samurai girl, but really that's just because she's like a samurai, a high school samurai. That's hilarious to me. I think she might have done more things to like annoy me. Maybe later on, I could see her like losing her appeal as the series goes on, or whatever. Like, you don't really know a lot about her early on. The opening sequence has her like standing in like a fountain of raining blood, which is like the coolest fucking thing in this fucking show. Just, um, will that happen in the series? I don't fucking know because I'm not watching this shit. Like, fuck that. I have better things to do. Like, I have other anime to watch. Like, I really fucking do. It just, wow. High School of the Dead. Man, I don't think I've had. I don't want to say it was hyped up. It was like one of those relatively obscure anime that like anime YouTubers tend to praise. So I really wanted to like talk about that specifically, like just how I'm starting to feel that anime YouTubers are unreliable because like they love Evangelion, like which of course is a piece of shit. They love High School of the Dead, which is a piece of shit. Like they defend all this kawaii shit. I've never watched kawaii anime or moe anime. Like I don't fucking know what I would think of it. Like I don't know. Like I imagine I don't know. So many people like there was this show a while back, like Kabayashi's Dragon Maid or something like that. So many people were hyping that up, and I remember like being really put off by the praise for it because like I didn't think the show was going to be that good. If I like going by what I saw, I didn't think that like it was something that deserved that sort of praise. Uh, I don't know. Like I really do think that like the anime scene on YouTube is much like the gaming scene and what like everyone is like praising the same kind of shit in hopes of getting views and like traction and momentum to their channel, not because they like actually like these shows or anything like that. No, you can't do that. Again, it's kind of amazing how so few people like how everyone seems to like watch and support the same sort of shows. There's no sort of like variety at all from what I've seen. Like, of course, I'm not like super familiar with the anime scene. Maybe I'm kind of off base with this, but going by what I've seen, I'm just not all that impressed with like the sort of anime that like the anime community tends to hype up and tends to praise. Well, One Punch Man was great. I loved One Punch Man. My Hero Academia is fine too. I don't know. Do anime YouTubers praise My Hero Academia? I don't think they do. That's kind of mainstream. Um, I'm talking like more people who are like a serious enthusiast anime fans. I don't really know. Again, like I like One Punch Man. I loved Mob Psycho. I want to talk about Mob Psycho. Um, I liked some of these shows, but then there are like instances like this, like how like High School of the Dead, or like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, or like Neon Genesis Evangelion, or even Yu Yu Hakusho to an extent. I love Yu Yu Hakusho, but Chapter Black was bullshit. Like all of these shows that are like venerated by this community, like really hyped up as like some of the best ever, the best shows ever made among like according to some people, and they're just not that good. They're not that special. They are not even that fun to watch. I just it, people love. There are some people who will like who. There is this saying. I'm not sure who said it. I believe it was Mark Twain who said that a classic is something that everyone wants to have read but won't actually read. Like, talking about like classic novels and stuff like that. I disagree with that. I find that like there are tons of classic novels that I really, really enjoy, like tons of great stuff out there. But there's also bad stuff that like has become like a sort of engraved in the pop culture. Like the original Tarzan novels are not that good. Like the original James Bond novels are not that good. Like I've talked about this before. I just like those are like franchises with a legacy, like a real lasting impact, and like have remained influential and like relevant for like hundreds of like not hundreds of years, hundreds of 100 years in the case of Tarzan, and like let's see, how long was James Bond? Like James Bond was like started in the 50s, I would say. Is that right? Like the movie started in the 60s. The novel started sometime before that. I think it was in the 50s. Uh, I'm not familiar with the novels at all. I don't think anybody cares about the novels at all. I think the movies eclipsed them in popularity a long time ago. But my point is that like even if something is considered a classic, that may not mean that it's actually good. And that's something I really want to like stress when it comes to like when I since I've been like criticizing like classic like Evangelion and like more cult favorites like High School of the Dead. Like these shows may have a following, but that doesn't mean they're good. Like that doesn't mean they're like excellent. That doesn't mean they're like worthy of being praised as like being special or like the best shows ever made. I imagine there's way better shit out there. In fact, there is way better shit out there. Dead Man Wonderland, in spite of all of its problems, I like way more than Evangelion. I like way more than what I saw of High School of the Dead. Like, in spite of all of Dead Man Wonderland's problems, I like that show for what it is. And I don't know, man. I don't really see myself coming back to High School of the Dead and like finding anything I really liked about it. It's just like from the get go, it was like a complete mess. That show was not any good.